Corporation, powering possibilities.
You can follow us on all our social media platforms: Facebook at NTA Network News, Instagram at NTA Network, Twitter at NTA News Now, YouTube at NTA News Online. Or visit www.nta.ng. For live streaming, visit www.nta.ng/live. Now, you can stay updated on the go, be it on your TV, iPhone, laptop, or iPad, or download the NTA mobile.
President Buhari condemns attack on security facilities in Imo State as investigation into the incident progresses.
Senate President Ahmad Ibrahim Lawal cautions against Nigeria's disintegration.
Nigeria will continue to be one. What we need to emphasize always is equity, justice, and fairness to all for all.
And Kano State government flags off mass vaccination of livestock.
On Good Morning Nigeria today, we shall discuss U.S. report on Lekki tollgate shootings, Motors Horizon.
Right, let's take your minds back a bit to 2020, specifically during the NSAS protest, which caused a lot of challenges and uproar among people both within and outside the country.
And one issue that generated serious debate and concerns was the Lekki tollgate shooting on the 20th of October 2020, to be specific, where unverified numbers of protesters who were said to have been killed, as claimed by foreign media, as well as some social media reports.
Indeed, that generated controversy, claims and counterclaims, and by various key players on the genuineness or otherwise of the alleged shootings of the protesters.
And clear, some foreign and local media, as well as the protesters, continue to argue on the number of people allegedly killed by the military personnel. The federal government maintained its stance that the alleged killings was untrue.
Indeed, not just the federal, well, the position of the federal government was made visibly by the Minister of Information and Culture. He was on this program several times, to corroborate the government's position. And again, just recently, that federal government's stance was also supported by the U.S. in its 45th annual Human Rights Report, released, as I said, just a few days ago.
And the report said the accurate information on the fatalities from the shooting remained fuzzy. Noting that apart from Amnesty International, which reported that 10 persons died during the event, no other organization was able to verify the claim of killing unarmed protesters at the Lekki toll gate.
So the question will be, why is Amnesty International insisting on its report when there are, when it has no verifiable evidence to prove the allegation? And what lessons should we learn from this situation? How do we deal with this or similar situations going forward? These are some of the issues we'll be looking at today on our program as we discuss the U.S. report on Lekki toll gate shootings on today's edition of the program. It's Good Morning Nigeria. And once again, good morning to all of you. I am Claire Adelabu Abdurrazak. Thank you for joining us.
And I'm Yusuf Nadabu Usman, welcoming you to Good Morning Nigeria, reaching you live on the network service of the NTA. As usual, We have our complementary segments, including the newspaper review, business news, and others. For a start, let's join Joseph Johnson for the modern news. Good morning, Joseph.
Good morning, Yusuf. Thanks for joining us here. The Nigerian Correctional Service Imo State Command and the Nigeria Police Force Imo State Command have suffered a major setback following attacks on both facilities by yet-to-be-identified gunmen. Their attack, which resulted in the release of inmates and destruction of facilities, is being investigated.
As at 2:15 a.m. this morning, some group of unidentified gunmen came to the custodial center and decided to put things the other way around, trying to cause a lot of havoc, which they did, which they succeeded in doing. From the look of things, they are numbering about up to 10, 12 vehicles. They gained entrance to the custodial center. We are trying to put things in order because for now the whole thing is very, very sketchy.
Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has condemned the deadly insurgent attack that took place on the police command headquarters and the correctional facility in Owerri, Imo State on Monday, calling it an act of terrorism. A statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, says President Buhari has praised the initial response by security guards and security forces for preventing greater loss of life and the destruction of public property. The President directs security and intelligence agencies in the state and the geopolitical zone to fully mobilize and go after the terrorists, apprehend them and get them punished under the full weight of the law. He calls for the rearrest of fleeing inmates, especially the deadly criminals. President Buhari then appeals to the public to assist the law enforcement agencies with relevant information that could lead to the apprehension of these criminals who perpetrated this despicable act, and be vigilant as everyone has a stake in preserving Nigeria's way of life from disruption, by terrorists and anarchists, while the federal government will use every available tool at its disposal to confront and terminate this barefaced anarchy. The Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, has ordered the immediate deployment of additional units of Police Mobile Force and other police tactical squads to Imo State to strengthen security in the state and prevent further attacks on security formations and other critical assets. A statement by Force Public Relations Officer Frank Mba indicates that the IGP gave the directives following their attack on security operatives and formations, including the Imo State Police Command headquarters and the headquarters of the Nigerian Correctional Services in Owerri. Preliminary investigations revealed that the attackers attempted to gain access to the police armory at the command headquarters, but were however resisted by police operatives on duty who repelled the attack. Meanwhile, one of the operational vehicles of the attackers has been recovered by the police and is currently being subjected to forensic scrutiny and investigations. The IGP, who described the deliberate and criminal attack on security operatives as an attack on the soul of the nation, enjoins leaders in Imo State, the southeast and other parts of the country to speak out against the unfolding violence and criminality. The IGP calls on citizens to avail the police and other security agencies with useful information that will assist in identifying and arresting the criminals. President of the Senate, Ahmad Ibrahim Lawan, has kicked against calls by some proponent of Nigeria's disintegration by throwing his full weight behind one Nigeria. The chief lawmaker made his position known while reacting to some national issues at his country home in Gashua, Yobe State.
Nigeria will continue to be one. What we need to emphasize always is equity, justice and fairness to all for all. And I believe that this is one way to go, probably the only way to go, to ensure that everybody feels belonged.
Nigerians in London on Easter Monday came out to support and pray for their country and President Muhammadu Buhari at the gates of the Abuja house in Kensington, London, where President Buhari is in residence. The supporters could be seen holding banners and placards with messages of hope, peace and security in Nigeria.
So we are here to pray and support Mr. President, so that God will grant him good health, grant him wisdom, knowledge and understanding to lead Nigeria to the greatness that we desire and deserve.
Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje has flagged off the vaccination of more than 2 million livestock across the 40 local government areas of Kano State. This is part of moves to enhance the lives and livelihoods of pastoralists through enhanced productivity.
In order to address this issue, we must transform the system of herdsmanship. And transforming the system of herdsmanship requires improving their productivity, requires provision of education, and requires issues of security.
Finally, 135 new cases of COVID-19 have been confirmed in 10 states and the FCT in the last 24 hours. The latest figure shows that Kwara State has 37 new cases, Lagos 32, Ondo 23, Nasarawa 13, FCT has 9, Kaduna 7, Rivers 6, Osun 3, Delta and Edo have 2 new cases each, while Borno has 1. There are now 163,330 confirmed cases of COVID-19 in Nigeria, out of which 152,045 patients were treated and discharged, while 2,058 deaths have so far been recorded. And that concludes the morning news. Good Morning Nigeria continues with Narabo and Claire after this break. Stay with us.
Recently, both the President and Vice President demonstrated leadership by being among the first Nigerians to have the AstraZeneca vaccine administered to them on live TV for all in the country to see. Subsequently, many federal ministers, political leaders and members of the Presidential COVID-19 Task Force have publicly taken the vaccine to follow in the footsteps of President Buhari and Vice President Oshibaja. To obtain it yourself, please go to the NPHCDA website. There is a link to click on in order to register and schedule your vaccination. In the meantime, please continue to wear face masks, wash your hands frequently, use hand sanitizer, and observe social distancing. This message was brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
You won't go shake your body. Instead, they make it calm down. If the farm say you sabi, you want to grow 6 packs in a day. I beg you not to pass your power. You want to show yourself, oh.
Whatever your size, find it with the new Airtel data plans. Dial *141# now to get the plan that suits you. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Every Indomie pack is an opportunity to win with the Indomie Eat and Win promo. Now you can also win for your child amazing limited edition Indomitables bags, lunchbox, cap, t-shirts, and a star prize of 100,000 naira. Just buy 10 Indomitables packs. Find the unique codes at the back of the packs. Go to www.indomitables.ng and enter your code to win. Hurry! Go grab your Indomitables pack now. Offer valid till stock lasts. Terms and conditions apply. Indomie noodles, tasty nutrition, good for you.
Contemporary times require practical skills to remain competitive and relevant in your organization. Therefore, take advantage of NTA TV College short proficiency courses to sharpen your professional skills. Basic Broadcast Accounting and Auditing. Date 19th April to 30th April 2021. 2 weeks. Audio Engineering, Operations and Maintenance. Date 19th April to 23rd April 2021. 1 week. Protocol, Event Management and Public Relations. Date 3rd May to 14th May 2021. 2 weeks. Intermediate Camera Operation Techniques. Date 17th May to 11th June 2021. 4 weeks. The course fee for the 4-week course is 100,000 naira per participant. The fee for the 2-week course is 80,000 naira, while the course fee for the 1-week course is 40,000 naira only. Accommodation inclusive. Venue for all the courses is the serene and secure environment of NTA TV College near Old Government House, Rayfield, Jos. For more inquiries, please call 0803-314-4383 or 0806-980-9807. NTA TV College, Jos. Training you to be the best you want to be.
Nigerian youths are about the greatest asset the country has at the moment. It is therefore not surprising that the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari is strategically responding to the yearnings of the youth through multiple projects and programs. Youth Entrepreneurship Support Years by Bank of Industry, the Youth Investment Fund by the CBN, and several other conditional cash transfer programs. Recruitment of 774,000 social workers, majority of whom are youths, and so many other projects that are beneficial to youths directly or indirectly. If the administration can do all this, definitely with a degree of patience and time, it can achieve more. Nigerian youths must come together to say no to terrorism, no to vandalism, and no to all disruptive tendencies. Hashtag Youth for Greater Nigeria. Pacifying the youths, unifying the nation.
I bring you wonderful news. The village headmaster is coming back to your screen. Mo wire abi mi o wire. Teacher no more. A fellow one project. Teacher no more. A fellow one project.
The premiere of the new season of The Village Headmaster, initially scheduled for the second quarter of 2021, has now been postponed till further notice. We apologize for this short notice and promise to keep our viewers and advertisers informed as soon as we have a new date.
And I know that even you too, you are getting a lot of orders too. We are trying, shall.
You're watching Good Morning Nigeria, reaching you from the NTA. Let's get started with the business report. It says the federal government urges state governments to domesticate the National Chart of Account. Let's join Kunle Idea for details.
Domesticating the National Chart of Account will qualify states for performance-based grants under the State's Fiscal Transparency, Accountability and Sustainability Program. The program is a $1.5 billion federal government program for results supported by the World Bank, which aims to strengthen fiscal governance at state level. The National Program Coordinator, Stephen Okon, explained that it provides a standard template approved by the Federation Account Allocation Committee to be domesticated by all levels of government for the purpose of planning, budgeting, accounting, and reporting of their financial transactions. In another development, the equities market ended the first quarter of 2021 on a bearish note, with investors losing 628 billion naira following inflationary concerns and uptake in fixed income yields, among other market factors. A professor of capital market, Uche Uwaleke, said profit-taking has played a major role.
But if you look at it cumulatively, for the month of March, the market was down. The same, we saw that also happening in February. So if you take on the quarter, the entire quarter, January through March, you could say that the market was, predominantly, on the negative side. What could be responsible, because that's the next question. You noticed that towards the end of last year, in 2020 in particular, stock price appreciated, so much, and we saw that, also reflecting in the January performance. So stocks had gone up. Naturally, you would expect, a pullback position. You would expect, some sell-offs happening.
He emphasized that some policies of government are stabilizing the market. With business news, I'm Kunle Adeyeye.
All right, that was business news compiled by our correspondent Kunle Adeyeye. As always, Bayatebe is right in the studio, but he will join us in a moment after this thing.
Bayo, welcome.
Thank you, Nadabo. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Claire. Good morning, Nigeria.
Bayo. How are you?
I'm fine, and you?
I'm not fine. There's so much killings all around, so much destruction, so much, kidnapping, and the weather is even compounding the whole thing.
Yes. The rains are late in coming, and the heat is on. And comfortably, too, across the nation, we have these incidences of criminality.
Precisely, and that's I'm sure it's the story that is leading in all the papers this morning.
All the papers, really, the Punch and the Daily Trust. What do you have there?
Yes, the Daily Trust as well. So let me quickly take the lead story, and it's on Imo attacks. I'm sure all conversations will center around Imo State this morning. IPOB building armory to actualize Biafra, says ex-police IG. And then the riders are stating that it's a sign of state failure coming from the senior advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana. And then end anarchy now, that's a call out to the president. And Southeast States Police Command ignore intelligence. IPOB kicks as Nnamdi Kanu hails onslaught. And then you see the picture of the destruction. Actually, it's worse than what you're seeing. For those of you who surf the internet on a daily basis, you must have seen, the level of destruction, especially at the police headquarters yesterday. But these are just snippets of what happened. Attacks on Imo State Police Command and Correctional Center in Owerri yesterday. It's so sad. It's so sad. Nadabo, how do you have your own caption so that we can move on?
The Punch has it. The federal government sounds tough. IG fingers IPOB as gunmen free 1,844 Imo inmates. And the riders are almost the same too. So you say you have a Buhari calls attackers terrorists, demands arrest, prosecution of masterminds. They also say Ohaneze expresses worry over rising attacks. Prayers who declares curfew in Abia State. And the funniest one here is that Jesus Christ has risen. You have no reason to be here. Again, the government tell inmates. They are even telling the inmates when they are attacked that they should leave immediately because Jesus Christ has risen.
I don't even think we should. Let's leave that. It's the more serious issues.
No, it's
yes, I know.
Yeah.
I understand you. But I'm saying they're making.
Even the devil can cite scriptures.
That's
it's part of it.
Even the devil does cite scriptures for the purposes of destabilizing society.
Of course.
And fortunately, the story we heard this morning is that they were attempting to, break into the police headquarters to take the missiles there, the weapons there, but they were repelled. So
yes, they failed to get access to the armory, and because the policemen at the headquarters stood up to them, but they were able to destroy a lot of vehicles outside there.
Really.
But it is not something that happened in Imo. According to Daily Trust, this was a convoy that had moved from Onitsha and traveled all night for over 2 hours to come and carry out the attack. On their way, they attacked a military checkpoint and attacked, I think, the local government area before arriving at the correctional center. At the correctional center, they tried to free 1,844 inmates. Some of the inmates, 35 of the inmates, refused to go anywhere. Later on, 6 others returned. But there have been reactions to it because Inspector General, apart from the presidency that has described the attack as terrorism, and also praised the gallantry of the security men who stood up to them, and have also challenged them to go after them and ensure that they are brought to the law and face the consequences of their action. But meanwhile, the Police High Command has already deployed units of mobile police and other tactical squads to Owerri. The Inspector General of Police has also appealed to senior citizens in the southeast and other parts of the country to speak against these unfolding developments. You will recall that there have been spate of killing of security men, even in Anambra, police, soldiers, custom officers, and this time around. And that is why, like the story you read, the governor in Abuja, Governor Keze Ekweazu, has declared a curfew. You see, when you see your neighbor's beard catch fire, what you do is you rub water to your own. It's already taking precautionary action so that it doesn't spill over. Governor Hope Uzodinma has condemned the attack, and he's saying that the intention was this outlaw group, the indigenous people of Biafra and their so-called Eastern Security Network, to release their fellow criminals who were in custody. But they came in armed trucks, Hilux vans and Sienna buses, numbering about 10. So they actually were prepared for the situation. The other security report is from the Nigerian Air Force. The Air Force has dismissed claim.
Even before we get down to that, just look at this very issue very well. Now you said they came over 2 hours on the road, attacked checkpoint, and then went through so many roadblocks and then got them through and successfully headed to that. Nothing happened, and there were no alarms, no alerts, nothing, no signals up to the time to the operation.
The portion you read there, failure of intelligence.
Yes, ignore that the Southeast States Police Commands ignored intelligence.
Because they had all been alerted that there was likely, this kind of thing was likely to happen because it is a heightened activity that has been going on. So it's a failure of intelligence, or rather, a failure to take advantage of intelligence information that will have helped them to knit all these things in the ball.
And truly, Bayo, while we commend the police for really, if you remember, you collect some 2-3 weeks ago, thereabout, they were able to crack down on these criminals, especially in the southeast, who attacked their personnel, their facilities, and the rest of them. And while we commend them for that, really want them really to really sit up too and do the needful in this regard, because going through for 2 hours, not straight just by the corner, and then having to attack and then create this kind of mayhem, it's really worrisome and needs some attention by the police and security agents. A lot should be sounded, and I think signals should be accepted no matter what. Let it be a futile chase, but let there be some chase with it.
If you saw a list of the kind of armaments they were said to be holding from the list released by the police headquarters, then you place the gallantry of these policemen to have stood up to them. It wasn't easy. Even at the correctional center, they had to use explosives to break down and get access to the correctional
But Bayo,
center.
that is they've already arrived at their destination. What I'm talking about is before they reach their destination, having come all along all this way, they should have been, been halted even before arriving at that place.
Well, failure of intelligence, but don't also forget that for a long time, roadblocks and checkpoints have been removed from the major of the highways. And this is why they had a free passage. The Air Force has declared that it is false claim by some information that they have found the wreckage of the missing Alpha jet and the body of a pilot in Burma. You will recall also earlier last week, there was a video clip indicating, being claimed by one of the insurgent groups that they had actually shot the aircraft in the air. They were actually showing an aircraft that was shot in the air in the Syrian war and claiming that has happened in Nigeria. But the Air Force said that a combination of the team of the Nigerian Air Force and the Army are still on a search and rescue mission, and they will update Nigerians immediately they come from the. But they have confirmed that the fears is that the plane may have crashed, and they are now looking for it, and therefore the pilots and the men are officers who are missing in action.
But just since before we even leave the issues of security, look at this. There is another story on the front page of the Daily Trust. Emir raises alarm over influx of illegal miners from Zamfara to Kano.
Yes, that is Emir of Karai.
Yes, it's 34. And then also at the bottom of the paper, bandits sack over 100 communities in Niger.
Niger has become the latest nexus of banditry. Why? Because if you look at the circle, Niger, Kaduna, Zamfara, and Katsina states, that is where they are roaming. So when there is pressure, serious pressure from the Zamfara end, from the Katsina end, the tendency is that they now move downwards. And then when they come to Kaduna, Kaduna has become a no-bandit land because the governor has declared he is not prepared to negotiate with bandits, and he has said that they should go after the bandits. Niger seems to have been the soft spot whereby they are now converging. And don't forget, Niger has the biggest challenge. I often say, one time said that the bigger the head, the bigger the headache. Niger is the largest landmass of all the states in the federation.
The largest, really.
Yes.
And that very forest goes through.
Yes, that makes it more challenging and more difficult. In fact, some of those persons who have been displaced in Niger are now threatening that they are going to occupy government house because they don't have a place for them to stay any longer.
And I think the governors of Niger and Zamfara should take you from Kaduna and they insist on this, take this policy seriously and then try to really insist on no ransom, nothing, and then try to force them and then fight them as much as they can, no matter what happens. Because even here you see abducted Kaduna student parents, their Rufai plan talks with the bandits. And that is saying that the parents are saying that they are not really, happy with the way the government in Kaduna State is insisting on no ransom and the rest of them. And you see the complicity now of the of the parents and the community in this issue. While the government is standing firm on a policy that seems to be yielding some positive results, the community members are trying to really sort of create some problems.
You have an instance of two persons who are wearing shoes and know where it pinches.
Exactly.
The parents are worried about their wards, 39 of them who are still in custody, and they wouldn't mind anything that will be done for them to be released. But the governor too is the one who is wearing the security shoes. And he says that he's putting his feet down, that he's not going to negotiate and he's going to rout them out of the state. I sympathize with the parents, I sympathize with those who are in captivity, but we must all be united in fighting criminality.
Nadab talked about being, committed, showing more commitment, amongst the states, Niger, Katsina, and Zamfara. And I think it goes beyond commitment now to approach. The different governors have shown different levels of commitment based on their approach, what they think, the approach they think is best. The Kaduna State governor does not believe in negotiating. And he said, look, we're not getting no ransom. So he's taking a very firm, But what are the, strategies, approach, used by the other governors? Is it working for them?
The nuances are different. In Zamfara, for instance, you had a vigilante group who were alleged to be victimizing the herdsmen whenever they came to the market. So there was an undeclared war between the vigilante groups and the herdsmen. And the herdsmen had to arm themselves to tackle the vigilante groups. So it became a war. And that was why when the governor realized that, he now sought a truce between the vigilante group and the herdsmen. The herdsmen demanded for the disarming of the vigilance group. And the governor said that, okay, for those of them who choose to volunteer to surrender their arms under an amnesty, they will be pardoned. And those who refuse, then they will now have to face the wrath of the law. So the circumstances are different in each state. But in the case of the Karai area, you recall that there is a ban on mining in Zamfara. And so you have illegal miners now who are flocking into Karai, and the emir has raised the alarm. But across in Gwarzo, they've been very tactical. What they have done there is to identify illegal immigrants who are coming in and insist on their registration.
I guess that's all the major stories. Do you have any other major stories now?
Well, the only major story is that COVID-19 is on the pressure downwards. As far as the pressure is concerned, we recorded 35 cases. And if we go back just only last week, we recorded about 624, and that is the lowest record in the last 5 weeks. So we are putting pressure on COVID-19.
Bayo, I don't think Dr. Hekwazu will agree with you, because just yesterday I read his statement. He says that, look, it's not that we are even putting pressure, it's that people are not testing. People are not coming out for testing. That's why we're having low number. And maybe because a lot more people are getting vaccinated, so...
if we recorded 625 and the last 5 weeks, that is the least number, are we not somehow in a descending tone? But another strange thing is that in Argentina, the president, Alberto Fernandez, got vaccinated, inoculated with Sputnik 5, the Russian vaccine.
Yeah.
And guess what? He got infected. He said he cannot know how he got infected. He said he is having mild fever. He's not having serious challenges, but he has gone into isolation. And there was a remark he made, which is very instructive. He said, if he had not had the vaccination, he could have been in a worse situation.
I see.
That again goes to tell us that that you've gotten the vaccination is not does not confer immunity. You'll still have to wear your face mask and your nose or nose masks or shield, whichever way.
So when you have the vaccination, it protects you from having those severe consequences of respiratory
it goes a long way
and
in doing
complications.
That. And that's what the Brazilian president is saying. Yeah.
And of course, goes to confirm the efficacy of the AstraZeneca over others.
All the vaccines are effective.
At different levels.
They are effective, but depending upon the environment and the individual body composition, persons react to different drugs separately, different. For instance, I react to sulfur. So if you give me any vaccination that has sulfur, I will react to it differently, the way you will react.
No, I didn't react. I took my jab last week. I didn't react. Have you taken your jab?
Yeah, sure.
All right, we'll be right back.
Smartphone Network.
My name is Chikwe Ihekwazu. I lead the Nigeria Center for Disease Control. I'm extremely privileged to have gotten this vaccine today. I accept it really on behalf of all the healthcare workers, public health workers that have really spent the last 12 months working so incredibly hard on this response. And I think it provides hope. This vaccine really provides us an opportunity to reinvigorate ourselves as we sustain the response in Nigeria. So this vaccine provides us a real shot at life. But, that shot will come into effect when we have most of the population vaccinated. We have to keep washing our hands, wearing our masks, keeping apart from each other until we have enough people vaccinated in the country. And I'm sure we'll get there.
Although social media as a channel of communication is inherently harmless, it becomes harmful and damaging when used without discretion and thoughtfulness. Bad social media users spread rumors and fake news without verification, but good